Howdy, folks. Welcome to another episode of the Reseller Niche Podcast. This is Mo, and how's it going, Russ?
Mo, it's going all right. How you been? It's been a while.
It has been a while. This is a catch up for us as much as everybody else. So, it's been good. It's a little cold right now, but I can't complain because some people have feet of snow, and we don't get any of that. So.
And you got the big news on your end, right? You got married and you got 2 kids and
yeah, all the last couple months.
Oh, just messing with you.
It's funny how things change.
It just changes that quick. So
yeah.
Excuse me, fighting off a little bit of that flu.
Yeah, I am too. So if I'm talking through my nose, that's what I mean. I don't always do that. I'm nasally anyway. But so today, I think we're gonna do just a quick recap, quick rewind on 2018 and some things we hope to accomplish in the. Well, I was about to say next year, but it's already this year.
It's already next year, right?
Yeah.
We're already in the future.
Yes, we are. So how was? We'll do the short of it and the long of it. So 2018, how would you describe it if you were to describe it in the short sense?
And as far as personal or overall reselling business?
I guess both. You could go with either one.
Personal, it was a really good year for me personally. We moved back to Savannah. We found our permanent home where we'll spend the rest of our lives. So that's kind of neat. Nice. For a nomad like myself, that's kind of a neat thing to have. And it was really interesting to gear back up into a reseller, into a community and into reselling and gearing back up to have a permanent location. So
for anyone that might not remember, you want to just give them a quick what you did the year. I know it's 2017, but
yeah,
we were kind of all over the place.
Right. We were on the road for a while. I was in Louisiana for a while. So it was kind of like, we were out in Texas doing some work out in Texas in the oil fields. And I wanted to be a full-time nomad, and we were. And, we just decided that, Carol decided, more so Carol than I am, and I was just okay. But we were looking for home, and we found it quicker than we thought we would. And it was coming back to Savannah. So that was kind of what 2017 was. 2018 and getting here and then being where now I can have my inventory and build my inventory up, and because when you're in a motorhome, your inventory better be small.
Yeah.
So it's been nice and kind of a learning experience. Everything's a learning experience, right? Not to get out of control and get your organization, because my organization got out of control, and that added some stress to the reselling business when you have to hunt for your items.
That's the worst.
So stressful. It is
absolute worst.
So got back into the organization part of it, and constant tweaking of that. Overall, I saw some great things in 2018 as far as the reselling community goes. There's people, we're dogging on eBay a lot now.
Yeah.
Everybody's dogging on eBay, and eBay hasn't really stepped up their game. And I think everybody agrees with the way they're going. But there's more opportunity out there now than the year before, and the year before that, and the year before that. It's not just a one-player game anymore. You've got cards, you've got that. So that was kind of the exciting thing I saw in 18, that we may be seeing the death of eBay, or the start of the death throes of eBay.
eBay. I kind of feel like I think what it is the death of the old eBay, maybe we should say. Because I don't think they're going to go away, but I don't think they want to stay in the same, not how do I say, it's not the same business, but they don't want to go the same way they've been going for the last 20 years.
Right.
I think they really want to attract bigger players, and by bigger players, I mean big companies. And you kind of see this a lot with Amazon and even YouTube. They're all trying to attract these big companies, big everything. So I think that's kind of what I see. It's like for example, in 2018, they introduced 2 stores. One for if you have 10 items, I think. I don't even know what it is. It's really minimal. And then one if you have, like, I don't know, 100,000 items.
Right. Yeah.
So that tells you they're kind of like, all right, for most people, we're in the middle. So
that's a really good way to say it, Bo, is the death of eBay as we know it, or the rebirth.
Exactly.
That hopefully it is a great rebirth, because, man, what an opportunity for us all, that we can sit at home and list stuff and go. And it's always been that aspect that really people have an opportunity to sell online. So it was the first avenue, and the first should always get a little bit of special recognition.
Yeah, the funny thing about eBay is that we talk about them like they're dinosaurs. I guess they're dinosaurs in the internet terms and e-commerce terms, because it's so new. Yeah. But I mean, everyone, if you think about it, copied them in a certain way. Even Amazon at the beginning tried and failed with auctions, I think, like 10 years ago.
Right.
And then a lot of, I'm sure, like Macari, Poshmark, a lot of these guys base a lot of their stuff off eBay. But then the difference is they've done these things that, like, people talking about Poshmark shipping, how it's streamlined, no returns or very low returns. Mm-hmm. So that kind of stuff is the difference. So
it is, and you get there. You got to look at your numbers on eBay and see. For myself, I was really pleased. Of course, and a few of the people that keep up with us, I had some heart trouble in November. And then as soon as I was getting kind of back from that, I got hit with the flu. So my fourth quarter was not as, and my fourth quarters are different. I keep with what I have. I don't go out and do the toys and the RA, and usually I have a better fourth quarter. But like my November was right on schedule with everything else.
Yeah.
And December, I made about half of what I normally make. Now, you think, oh, wow, that was a bad December. I didn't do anything. All I did was ship.
Gotcha.
So I didn't source, I didn't list, all I did was ship. So making half your money and not doing anything, that's a pretty good December.
Yeah, it is. I mean, it shows you the power of just e-commerce in general. Mm-hmm. If you can do that, take a break and just ship. So that's awesome. I mean, it's sad about not being 100% in November and December, but at least if you could fall back on it, that's really cool.
Yeah. It was. I mean, it was like, man. So now, now I'm ramping up January, and you start thinking ahead of, I'm looking for the sports equipment now and getting ready for springtime. So, how about you? How'd you feel about 18? What were some things you pulled away from it?
To be honest, maybe this is really weird, but my reselling, and as much as I fought to, I'm going to do this full time, that never happened. And then secondly, I was kind of all over the place because, we moved and then we had to relocate, and that took up half the year. And then the kids got into a new school, which the schedule was completely different. So that's another thing. And then just kind of...
And you have, when you say reselling full-time, you have other business entities that can pull you away. Yeah, so I want to keep that in mind, that Mo's not just sitting there going, I don't know what I'm doing. So
yeah, and it's just kind of, and it was funny, I kind of fell into those. But, I mean, the main thing is I remember I think it was maybe May, June, I was saying, I'm going to do this full-time, this and that. In the back of my mind, I'm always kind of that person that doesn't ever want to do one thing, regardless of what it is.
Right.
So that's kind of what happened, and that's just me, I guess. So I like to do more than one thing, and diversify as much as I can. But I mean, I don't know. I think this year I'm going to be doing a lot. I'm going to ramp up a lot. I never actually got onto Mercari like I said I was going to. I did get on the Poshmark a little bit, and then eBay and Amazon, they were in place already. So I kind of just went with those. And I was lucky in a sense that I had enough inventory where it could keep me going. And
yeah, I remember you telling me there was a time where you say kind of the same thing. You didn't list,
exactly,
and it was still all you were doing was shipping,
yep,
and tweaking and doing that. So,
and I did a lot of that actually, just like you, in the fourth quarter. I want to say mid-December, even early December onwards, I stopped sourcing. I think for like 2 or 3 weeks until maybe this week.
Yeah,
and I just didn't. And then I'm not a big Black Friday person. I've done it before. Maybe 2 years ago was the last time I did it. I don't like it at all. I'll do a little bit online, but in store, no, not really. It's just too stressful.
yeah, yeah. Our one buddy, Bearded Picker, he went viral with doing that, and I always say, man, if you've got the energy and that's your thing, go, and you want to try it, go do it, because there is great money to be made just in fourth quarter.
Yeah,
and yeah, I mean, what was our one guy in the old green room, Jonathan? All he did was fourth quarter and did kind of just Legos, right? Remember years ago?
Yeah, he's ramped up all from that.
Yeah, he's different, but that's what started. So fourth quarter is a way to really, and I always keep watch of numbers, and of course every year retailers will say they're concerned about fourth quarter, about the Christmas sales, and every year they're higher. So how are they? How is we spend more and more each year, and the retailers are concerned about it. But that leads into this fact that retailers are going away.
Yeah.
To a point. Yeah.
I think this might be the year that you kind of get more used to not dealing. I mean, we're already. I mean, I don't know if you've been to a shopping mall anytime recently, like a regular mall, not like these strip malls that are spaced out.
Right.
But they're dead. And then, I mean, at least around here, unless you go to like San Francisco or like a bigger city. But I think it's going to maybe be the year that we get used to the idea of just, you know what, let me go online first. And maybe it's already a year ago.
I think we're probably
happened.
there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Most people are. In fact, it was funny when we moved back here to Savannah, I was helping one of my friends fix his dryer. And I said, well, it was a dryer part. You got to order it online. And he picks up the phone and calls the local appliance repair place, and the guy goes, yeah, I got that part. And that floored me, that I was like, I never thought about checking local first.
Yeah.
Because it just, I was like, man, because that's, well, it's going to be a couple days, you got to order it and it's going to be here. And it just so happened this guy had it. Those are few and far between now.
It is. I mean, I remember this is probably like a year ago. I was trying to buy a phone, not a cell phone, but like a landline phone.
Yeah.
And I walked into, I think, Best Buy and Walmart. And both of them kind of looked at me like, one guy actually showed me a cell phone. I'm like, no. Like the old kind that you actually press the buttons on. It's plugged in the wall, has a little cable. And a landline.
Has an RJ11, and they go, RJ what? Yeah.
So yeah, I remember Walmart. He's like, yeah, you're not going to find it. Just go online. Every now and then we carry them, but usually not.
Well, you've been in big cities, and you were in the Bay Area. Mo, where did you get your poly bags to ship from? Did you go down to
online
to Best?
I couldn't get.
Nobody carries. Nobody carries poly bags. It's all online. So yeah, we'll see more and more of that. I think there's certain things that will always be retail.
Yeah.
The boutiques, people, they like to shop and physically shop. But who knows? Maybe, 20, 30 years from now, there's no such thing as retail operations.
I think it's going to be more like a warehouse kind of. You kind of go in there. There's a giant tablet. You press what you want, get in there. Like, I don't know if you've ever seen those pictures of the Amazon grocery stores. I actually haven't. I don't know if they're up and running yet, but like literally, I think you can drive in, and it's kind of like a drive-through.
Yeah.
And then you press what you want, you pay, and there's no people there.
They're
in the background just talking.
They're watching the computers pick your items. Yeah, Kroger is doing that also. Kroger's working on their automated grocery
That's
store.
Crazy.
And yeah, isn't that crazy? I mean, that's kind of where it's going to go. As automation. Have you seen? This was out a couple years now. The automated, the Amazon. When I was in warehousing, we always had order pickers, and you get the order sheet, and they'd run down the aisles. Well, now Amazon has that robot that lifts the rack that the product's on and brings it right to the order filler, and they just sit there and pick. And then that is one of the coolest systems I've ever seen.
Oh yeah, I mean, it's funny you say, well, Amazon's probably leading the way in multiple areas like this, but I don't know if you know how Flex works, their delivery service. Because I saw it because I was driving by and I could see it, and then I just asked a couple people that do it. I have a cousin who does it, and you literally you can get the job, which is basically delivering stuff similar to like Uber Eats and stuff like that.
Right.
And not see anybody. You get your stuff. The only time you might see someone is when you go into the warehouse. You drive in, and then they'll have like a rack, and you just grab a bunch of boxes, scan them in, and then you're off, and you don't come back. So you go in, you get like 50 boxes, whatever it is. They do it all through their app. You deliver all the packages, and then you go home.
Wow.
And you even sign up for the job on their app.
So it's all, everything's app driven, and
so it's kind of like that's the way we're going.
There's a thing on YouTube, an ad on YouTube about Uber and the opportunities and stuff. And I know Uber's had their issues too. And then you can have like Savannah. I think you hit the Uber app. There's like 50 drivers at any given time, so it can get saturated. But it's about the opportunity.
Yeah.
And I really struggled in the past about. When I graduated high school, I had a choice. I could go to college or I could go to a career. And I could go get a good job that would pay for my family if I wanted to in a factory. Well, those days are long gone.
Yeah.
And that job could have maybe parlayed into a 20, 30 year plus a retirement. And I really struggled in the past 10 years or so watching America come to the point that's not an opportunity for people today. They go to college, they get overwhelmed in debt, and they come out and that college degree doesn't mean anything.
Yeah.
But yet, through the boom of the apps and things like Uber, and the opportunities are endless now.
Yeah, it's coming back kind of full
circle.
It is.
It really coming back. And I was reading a report recently where by 2030, 60% of U.S. will be gig driven. Self-employed.
I could understand that. Yeah.
And that's really what we need to be as a solid country, because we can't depend on corporations and jobs, and we have to depend on ourselves first.
I think it's like, how they talk about like big business, and then you got like these mini companies. I think there's going to be kind of a new group, like you said, of these. I don't even know how to describe it, but basically jobs like that, gig jobs, like you said.
Yeah.
But not just Amazon. Amazon is just kind of leading the way. There's going to be a lot of companies popping up, like almost pop-up jobs, gigs. Who knows?
I like what Chris Lynn was. We were talking with him one time, and he said, think about it. The largest hotel online doesn't own a room with Airbnb.
That's true.
The largest taxi service doesn't own a taxi.
Yeah.
And the largest retailer, or the largest inventory item, doesn't own inventory in Amazon. And I'm like, that's.
Yeah.
So. So what's your kind of plans for 19? You're settled in now. You got the pool up and running, and
yeah, I think 2019 is number one, reorganization. I was telling you this earlier. I planned on getting a bunch of racks and setting up everything, which I did. But I had never bought my tubs and everything for racks, so they were multiple different sizes.
Right.
Some of them cardboard boxes, some of this size, that size. So I thought, instead of replacing all these, why don't I just try and do a makeshift thing? So I don't know if you've ever gone on Craigslist and you see these guys that sell racks. You can buy the parts. It's not that difficult. I'm the least handy person in the world, and I was able to do it. Problem was, these are kind of when I went to pick up the stuff, which was next to nothing. They just wanted me to move it. A lot of the parts didn't fit, or they were missing things, so I had to go get screws and this and that. Long story short, the rack that I built fell apart, including half of the tubs, and the bottom ones all broke. So
was it a like a warehouse rack or like a restaurant?
Kind of. I mean, it wasn't like a full blown I forget what the size is, but it wasn't like a 90 by whatever that is. Like, it wasn't made for pallets, basically.
Gotcha.
So It was made for boxes or smaller items. But long story short, I didn't put it together correctly, and it held up for like a week or two, and then it collapsed.
Oh no.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't put everything up on there, so wasn't like everything, but like the stuff on the top fell, and then the bottom ones kind of got squashed, and the bottom tubs cracked. So yeah, right now everything's on the floor, so I have to redo that. I'm gonna have to go get tubs that are uniform and do that if I want to actually get my rack system up. So that's one thing. And then FBA, I need to ramp that up again. I started to, I want to say up until November, but like I said, December I kind of slowed down. So I need to get back into that because I haven't done as much FBA as I did in previous years. So this year's kind of like just going back to what I was already doing 2016, 2017, basically.
Now, and FBA from what, now I haven't done FBA in 2 years now. And because of the changes, and I really like working in the vintage stuff, so it's kind of may or may not get back into it. But FBA, from what I'm understanding on the boards and some of the notes I've seen come out, they're opening some more things up, aren't they?
They are. I think
some of the restricted areas kind of were open more so.
It's weird. You kind of go back and forth, and then I haven't done as much FBA this year as a lot of other people, but this is actually, I heard this from other people. They kind of go back and forth. Like, you'll be restricted on something. You go and scan a toy, and then it will be restricted, and then you can apply for it and get unrestricted. You can send it in, and then you can get restricted again, and you can apply for it again. So there's this back and forth and back and forth. And unless it's like Dirty Pig was talking about with Monopoly, they keep restricting that. I don't know if it's completely restricted again, but it's kind of like they want, basically the way Amazon, I see the way Amazon thinks is that we're going to push the envelope as much as possible, but we're going to let companies come in and say, hey, no, that's mine. You can't sell it. But if they don't, then we're going to let people sell it. And so it's kind of like just kind of nudge, nudge, nudge. Oh, wait, stop. All right, nudge, nudge, nudge. So, I mean,
yeah. So be liquid and be fluid with FBA at all.
Don't go too deep, I would say, unless it's dirt cheap. But I would say never go too deep. But another thing I notice is right now is a great time to source. I mean, everyone, actually, it's always been a great time to source at the beginning of the year because everyone's trying to get everything off the books.
To get to, and it's sourced. Not only I saw somebody, Carol turned me on to it. It's a Netflix show about purging, and
I haven't seen it, but I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, and it's kind of, and what a great way to pick up some items at the time. Now, I did source a little bit in December, put the word out, hey, I'm buying this or buying that. Yeah. And I had a couple hits. I didn't do any big lots or anything, but yeah, now's the time. Sourcing's a good time right now because people. And
what I would recommend is like, oh yeah, definitely, because people are purging. So what I recommend is doing, I don't know, everyday items. as opposed to like Hot Toys or anything like that, which I don't really do that much anyway. But because those ranks, I know in past years, like something that's ranked super low, that can balloon in January, February, March going up, and it will sit for a while. So you don't want to get caught with stuff sitting.
Oh yeah, and definitely since the early days when they didn't have storage fees.
Yeah.
Yeah. You don't.
And that one item thing. Yeah.
Now I know. Have you done much merchant fulfill in the last year? Or
I've never done much merchant fulfilled. I think I used to have a guy, two different people that when I had my shipping store, they had, one of them had a food item, one of them had like a healthcare product, neither of which could be FBA'd. So I learned how to merchant fulfill through that. One was like almost like a tomato paste type thing. But there are a couple rules that have changed even with that. They had like this rule where you can only have, I don't know if it was 10 ounces, 16 ounces of any kind of liquid type thing.
Right.
That changed, I think. I think they increased that. I could be wrong. But no, long story short, I haven't done much merchant fulfilling.
Because I used to do quite a bit merchant fulfill back in Alabama.
Okay.
Of course, that was 2-3 years ago. And I enjoyed that because, again, it was hands-on product and you get to control that. The thing that I didn't like was the differences of Amazon and eBay. When you're dealing with another eBay buyer or an eBay buyer, they are completely understanding that there is a person behind that.
Yeah.
When you're buying from Amazon, you're buying from Amazon.
Yeah.
And that takes the personality out of that, or the human factor out of that. And that leads into some areas where there's a little bit more scamish, a little bit more complaint, a little bit more returns.
Yeah.
So, but it's a give and take still. Still a great way to move some product.
Oh yeah, especially if, like you said, all these restrictions are going on. I've merchant fulfilled like health and beauty items that you couldn't FBA. I don't think hazmat. I don't think you could even do that. Maybe somebody else can answer that. Every now and then I'll run into an item that says it's under review for hazmat. I never tried merchant fulfilling those. Maybe you can. I have no idea.
Yeah,
but
maybe you can. So there's opportunities. What's on store for? I know I'm gonna bring it up in case you didn't think I was gonna, or we didn't talk about it, but we can cross promote. What's on store for the foodie babies?
Oh,
if you're listening to this, let me promote you for a second, Mo.
All right, you're gonna embarrass me now.
Well, no, not at all, because it's awesome. Mo's children. Mo does not a podcast, but a YouTube channel. Mo and his wife do a YouTube channel with their kids, and they are just they are some of the cutest kids. And they do food items like trying this, trying that, open things up. So, and that's growing, Mo. Yeah, I've been watching your numbers on that. Your kids are natural, and first of all, they're very natural in front of the camera.
Yeah, and you can tell.
And that's that generation. They're used to the phone. When we were growing up, and the camera came out, it was for pictures, and then the movie camera came out, and we didn't know what to do.
Yeah.
The kids today, they at very young age, that phone whips out, and they know to smile. Well, so they're natural at it.
Oh yeah, isn't that what they said? Steve Jobs tailored the phone for a 2-year-old, so you didn't have to be able to read. You just press, and do whatever you need.
Yeah.
So
and they're fun to watch. I've been enjoying watching them, and they crack me up because
ironically we started that to get them off watching TV and like to be off cell phones. So that was the whole point of that.
Right.
So. Yeah, we'll see.
It's fun. They're cute kids, and your daughter's the dynamics between the two children. I always watch. I love studying humans and watching the dynamics between those two are really cute at that age. And
Yeah, yeah.
it's not an adversary dynamics too, and that's what's beautiful. That's beautiful to watch that they're not at each other all the time.
Not all the
I'm
time.
sure they have their moments, but as a rule, they are friends, and
Yes.
you can see that comes through. So good job on that, Mo.
Thank you. Thank you. But I mean, that actually kind of brings me to another point, though. You're talking about like younger people, and then in terms of, I mean, we always talk about everyone talks about millennial this, millennial that, but if you think about it, advertisers are kind of going further than that now.
Yeah.
Like I guess, see, we're both pre-millennials, and then there's millennials, and then I think they call it Gen Z, and then after that, which would be people born in 2010, I believe, onwards, they call it Generation Alpha. So
Alpha? Okay.
that's companies are actually starting to target them because, like you said, they're used to cell phones. They're used to everything like being like that. So they're starting to target that already. So just imagine 10 years from now, the types of, I don't even know how marketing would be. I mean, it's going to be completely different.
Completely changed. Well, and look at just in the past couple of years, PewDiePie wasn't he was the top ranked YouTuber. What was his audience?
Oh yeah, I'm sure.
Yeah, it was younger. It was.
Yeah.
And so his target audience, that shows you the power of that targeting audiences at that point.
That's true. That's true because there's a shift going on now. That's starting to target. I mean, I'm talking about like the Walmarts, the Amazons. They're starting to target younger and younger and younger people. I'm not sure what. I don't know what the minimum age is for a credit card. I think it's 18, or it could be even younger than that if you have like parental.
I think so, but I'm sure Wall Street will change that in the future, and you'll get a credit card that you have to apply for your credit card when you apply for your Social Security card.
Would not be surprised because actually I believe the way it works with like an email address is you have to be, or maybe a Facebook account, you have to be 13 for a Facebook account,
right?
Because I know there was like something and somebody got sued for something and there's like underage this or that, so I think 13 is that. I wouldn't be surprised if that goes lower. Because you've got sites like you said, you're talking about 2018. Like I think the biggest growing site was something or app, I should say, something called TikTok. I don't know if you've seen that.
TikTok, yeah, I've seen that.
Really short little. You can't call them videos. Yeah. I don't know what they are.
Yeah, they're not even just. They're like a live GIF would be a best way to say.
Basically, these little skits and little people smiling at the camera basically half the time. So that's kind of where they're moving, kind of short. It's kind of the way I would describe it is Twitter, but for video. I mean,
yeah, that's a real good way of saying it. Right. You got 120 characters to say in a 10-second video.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I think I know we're getting off subject here, but I guess what do we talk about? What we can see going on and our plans for 2019. What about you?
Well, I've got a financial goal.
Okay.
Kind of wanting to bring my business up to, or my reselling up to an X amount per month to start rebuilding my retirement fund.
Okay.
And there's some property here in town that we're looking at that we would love to go ahead and buy, and that's something that Savannah the dynamics of Savannah are changing rapidly. Is where like when we moved here in 2000, when I first moved here in 2007, you could rent a 2-bedroom place near downtown for $750 a month.
Okay.
Now that place is going $1,300-$1,400 a month.
Okay.
downtown is like $2,000 a month now, 2,500 a month. And so that's kind of changing the aspect of Savannah. And I'd like to, I want to get more into ownership. And I've always believed that, I always wanted to make a property an asset instead of a liability. And you and I have spoken on it offline on that. So that's part of it, building that up to the point. I really like the focuses that I've been getting into that have kind of just came, like you said, your other business entities kind of just came on you.
Yeah.
It's kind of like, it took me a while, but I studied. I watched and saw things, and said, okay, there's an opportunity here, and went after it and got it. And with sourcing, so that's kind of neat. Excuse me, Mo. And I really like focusing on that. It's for the first time in a while I'm able to focus on that and say, okay, I've got the space. If I need more space, I can go rent a storage locker. And that's kind of where I'm wanting to go. I've got a dollar figure in mind that I'm wanting to reach per month, and take it from there. And we've got the plan on it. What about yourself? How's your thoughts on 2019?
It's kind of rebuilding, we had a big outlay. We spent a lot in 2018 moving. It's not cheap, and then kind of rebuilding in that sense. So it's more rebuilding for me. I guess similar to what you're talking about as well, but in a sense that rebuilding inventory wise, getting my processes down, finding hopefully some local wholesalers, and kind of pushing FBA, because what I'm going to do, I like eBay and I like Amazon for different reasons. I'm still hesitant about private label, so I'm still kind of dragging that out.
Yeah.
And then let's see.
Let me ask you on that private. Do you think it because you and I are very similar on how we spend and how we source and things we outlay on. Do you think it's the private label, the part that makes us, because I'm uncomfortable with it myself, and is it the initial outlay of private label that kind of bothers you, or is it just the vastness of knowledge that we have to grab before?
No, the way I see private label is that I want to go into it, but I want to go into it with because everyone talks about a brand, you build up something.
Right.
What I saw maybe, I don't know, 3-5 years ago when I was looking into it, it was more like you could just copy anybody's item, throw it up there, and then it just, as long as you tweak your item better than the other guy, better pictures, better description, better advertising, then you'll be okay. And then you get multiple products, you build that, and that's how you build it. You built a brand. I think it's the opposite now. I think you kind of have to build a name, a brand, and then go after a product, if that makes any sense. So that's kind of what I'm thinking about. I'm not even sure how to wrap my brain around it, but it's more than just, okay, I'm going to pick, they always talk about like gardening gloves, barbecue gloves, that type of thing. I don't want to be, Mr. Barbecue. But it's more like with so many people doing it, and there's an outlay there. If this is something you want to do for years, you kind of want to have something that's going to stay around. I mean,
yeah. And so, you can do that branding easier today than ever before. Nothing on that aspect. And because I think of Anna White, she started on YouTube. People started following her. Now she has her own or if she doesn't, she should be moving into her own products. And endorsements and stuff like that. So you can do, but I think the thing that gets me is the initial outlay, and then what makes me uncomfortable is the initial outlay on a risk.
Yeah.
Because when I'm sourcing stuff for $1 and I sell it for 10, that's no risk. Yeah. When I drop 10 grand on an item and don't know if it's going to sell,
exactly,
that's risk, and that's scary risk, especially at my age. because
Yeah.
I have to. Well, I've got to prepare for. I've got 20, 25 years left, so I've got to prepare for those years.
Yeah, I lean more towards wholesale in a sense because it's maybe established brands, maybe.
Established, yeah.
I mean, yeah, and the marketing
Not saying
is
again, not saying it's there's nothing wrong with private label.
yeah,
Yeah. I mean, it's just there's nothing wrong with eBay. There's nothing wrong with Amazon. It's just what makes you comfortable. What makes that person comfortable.
exactly. Right
Yeah.
now, I'm just not there yet. So
I've thought of a lot lately. I don't know if I'll ever be there. I may be very comfortable just building up to that point that I want, and being wholesale or being vintage, whatever, and being happy with
yeah,
that.
I think it's just how you want to set up your business, how you see things. I know there's
Hmm.
so many people doing so well, so it's not a good or a bad thing. It's just what you want to do, what you're
Yeah,
comfortable doing.
and some of these people, Mo, that we know that are doing very well, we watched them start out
Yeah,
and know them from start to now getting to the point. So somebody that says, "Oh well, yeah, that person's doing it because of this or that person's doing it because of that," and they did. No, we've watched people start with nothing,
yeah,
and I myself, I've told this story before. I started with $22.25 and built from there. And
nice.
the end of that month had 1,800 in sales. So, I mean, it's doable. It's very
Yeah,
doable. So
definitely,
don't
definitely.
ever discount the over there his numbers. No, we've seen these people do that and go viral and go or even go viral or even get their business to where now they're home. So the opportunities are there for sure.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. So, and then I guess what I mean, if do you have, I know you have goals for 2019. Is there anything else that you see changing in 2019 in terms? I don't know. It could be personal, it could be business.
I do. I've got to get. We we Carol and I have been focusing on a couple issues as far as like younger next year is the thought process. I've got to get more get this weight off and get healthier on the aspect because we don't want to get into the position where I go completely down and then Carol has to cover both her business and my business. So uh, right now we work a lot together on things. So that's a big thing. Just getting healthier, get moving again. Um, the biggest is finding my right mix of medicine to get me where I can walk, um, and that's the biggest. And you, that's a tough thing. I've kept it kind of quiet on the channel. We don't. Um, and because we'll call and I'll say, "Well, can't do it." I have a very severe bone degeneration and bone deterioration that has led into spinal issues, rheumatoid arthritis type stuff. And there's days where I literally can't get out of bed. And so that getting to where I walk more, um, can go up and down steps. There's getting to where I never have to use my crutches again would be nice, but there's no cure for what I have. So
Gotcha.
you just have to keep fighting it, and that pain is what keeps, massive amount of pain can keep you from doing a lot,
Yeah.
and you have to, and it can affect a lot of my heart issue is tied into the amount of pain that I deal with on a day to day basis. So getting that pain free, there is some nice changes happening that's kind of good to see. The CBD oil or the prices have come down. There's a lot of movement towards the THC oil without the psychotropics in it that help somebody that's in a lot of pain. I don't do opiates. Opiates work, but there's so much side effects that it really is bad. And but hopefully as this country becomes more progressive, we see some increase in the pain control. So that would be real nice on a personal level, is continue to get the younger next year type mentality, to where I'm not going down the hill, I'm still climbing up the hill.
Okay. That's an awesome goal. I mean, I'm thankfully I don't have anything similar, but I mean, just getting a little bit fitter would be helpful for me. And then I think organization would probably be the word I would think of first. I need to get more organized, streamline everything. I think we kind of get set in routines, and if you're not organized, you're set in a bad routine. So that's never good.
You can focus on the sell, which starts on a list.
Yeah.
And I got to list more, because that list more sells more.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, because man, that, like we said, not being organized can add to the stress, massive stress of when you're shipping. That's man, you can stress out.
Searching for an item for an hour when it should have been, in some organized place. So I mean, yeah, definitely. So yeah, so I guess another thing is we'd like to do these shows more often. I mean, we'll guarantee a show once every month, and we'll hopefully go a lot more than that.
Excuse me, Mo.
Oh, no problem.
Yeah, and why do we do these shows? Just to hang out, just to talk and get to know. I really enjoyed your friendship and was hoping to get out there and hang with you. But now we
will someday.
We will someday, and get maybe meet in the middle or something, because I still want to get back on the road somewhat. Probably this summer, I'm going to do some road trips.
Oh, nice.
And I want to get. The nomadic life will always be part of me. And I told Carol the other day, I'm like, because I'd been inside so much because it was cold in December.
Yeah.
And I said, I'm getting the itch to go bad. I'm like, I can get on a plane and just go. I said, let's go up to DC just to get out, just to go. Let's just get on a train or go somewhere.
That's not a bad thing. So, don't lose that.
No, it's not. I've always been kind of that way, to like, want to always be on the go. But so we'll get together one of these days, and and hopefully, this is what's words of wisdom. We always like that Jerry Springer final thought.
Yeah.
And somebody out there watching, or somebody out there listening, I've always been hesitant to say about my health, and don't take it as pity. I've never been that type. But if you can look at that and go, man, there's days that this guy can't even walk, and you can do this business. Everybody has the ability to do this business. It's just the want, and it's there. And so that's kind of for 2019. 2019 doesn't mean anything. It's just a number on a arbitrary calendar that we've created.
Exactly.
But if you take it that, you can make it a business that you want to do and can do. If your goal is to replace your car payment, you can do it with, go spend $10 and go buy something. I mean, you can make your own money, and don't let anything scare you.
I agree. My goal of 2019 is to pay off a lot of stuff I bought in 2018, to be honest.
Yeah. And Mo, if you had a job, okay, say you bought a new vehicle.
Yeah.
And you needed a new vehicle. It was time. You bought I shouldn't say new, you bought a different vehicle. And if you had a job right now, and you would have to plan that out for the next 4 or 5 years.
That's true.
Now that since you have a part where you can create your own money, if your goal is to pay off a vehicle in 2019, you can.
Yeah, yeah. You just plan it out. Like I said, get organized. Like I said, go back to that and then do it.
Get organized and get your goal. We're looking at the piece of property we want it paid off in like 5 years.
And then let me ask you about that. Is it because I know people talk about like rentals versus Airbnb or long term? Is it because I know Savannah is more of a kind of a touristy destination? Is it touristy? Is it kind of long rentals or
long term asset?
Okay.
Long term rentals. It's the and it's multiple.
Nice.
Multiple entity or
what do you Grant Cardone thing.
Multi-housing, yeah.
Yeah, 2 doors is better than one.
Right. And there's a lot of that. If you think of the time that Savannah was built, we went through the boarding house era, and then in the 20s they started the apartment era, and that's kind of where we love the old 20s building, 1920s and turn of the century buildings is where they started doing the apartment
nice.
condo type first. Yeah, so it's kind of neat to see that progression. But yeah, it's not. Tourism has never impressed me, or not impressed me. Tourism has never motivated me. I've lived in Florida enough, and that I've seen people make great money at tourism. That's for them. Kind of not for me.
Yeah, it kind of depends because I guess an Airbnb model, which is great, people make so much money on it. The only thing I'm seeing or hearing about a little bit is a pushback from cities. I guess
Savannah is one of those cities that pushes back. Okay. Yeah, because it has literally decimated some neighborhoods. So there'd be a street that everybody lived on. Well, they all went to Airbnb, and it's their, that's their right. Yeah, I'm a human. I'm a property rights owner at the point, but there's streets now that are nothing but Airbnb. So it has lost some neighborhoods because of that.
Yeah, sorry, I was looking over here because we have ignored the chat. So I just want to say hi to the Truth, Krillin, Kyle Miller, and Bum Crack Picker. Best name ever.
Best name ever.
And so, yeah, I apologize about not really looking at the chat. I need to get better at that.
That's some of our UK guys, isn't it?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, he's over there.
Yeah, awesome. Hope everything's going well for everybody over there.
Yes. So I think what we'll do is we'll wrap it up here. Just want to say hi to everybody. And we aren't disappearing. We'll be back. We haven't got a schedule yet, but you can check us out on our Facebook group. And if you're listening to us on the podcast, we'll be uploading probably at least a couple of times a month, and then also on YouTube. But
hey, and if you want to join us, send us a message.
Yeah.
Come join us on there. Yeah, we love meeting new people and talking and interviewing. I'd love to get Bum Crack Picker on just because of the name, but we still can't get him on.
Yep. And then the Truth is talking about yoga as being a lifesaver. Yeah, something like that would be great for me. I need to stretch.
Yoga. Oh yeah, that's my wife is working on that and trying to convince me of it, but I can't get over the body image of me in yoga tights.
Oh yeah, you wouldn't want to see me anywhere near tights. I mean, I'd be I'm the before picture.
That's awesome. All right, well, you have a good rest of the day, and we'll see you soon.
See you guys. Bye.